Hello and welcome to User Spotlights. I'm Laura with ClickFunnels, and today I'm speaking with Dan Harvey. Dan is the co-founder of Passion.io, a platform that helps creators, coaches, and entrepreneurs easily create their own mobile apps. He started his journey as a touring musician who wasn't making very much money, but he wanted to figure out a way for artists and creators to monetize their passion. He helped build over 10,000 passion businesses using Passion.io's suite of tools. And as a serial entrepreneur, he's made his living inspiring others to live out and achieve their own dreams. And we're going to learn more about that today. Welcome, Dan. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much. Enjoying excited to be here.
Great to have you. So let's start off by just giving our audience a little bit of background on what led you here today.
Sure. I've been a musician my whole life. And when I was 19, I decided I needed to drop out of university and pursue my career as a musician. I was studying maths and it just wasn't for me. I joined a band. We did quite well. In the UK, we had an album in the charts. We toured around the world. But it was still very difficult to earn money. And so at some point, the money ran out and we could no longer play music, which sucked because we enjoyed it, but also we had fans all over the world who wanted us to make music and they wanted to come to see us play. And so after that experience, decided I would make it my mission to help people earn more from their passion. And now that was almost a decade ago. I'm older than I look. And we've now helped like over 10,000 coaches, creators, entrepreneurs to launch their own mobile apps and to earn more from their passion. And they've got between them like over 1 million end users. So I'm really excited about the impact we've been able to have so far. And it still feels like day one. So we're still very excited on what's to come.
That's incredible. So did you have like an aha moment of there being a need in the industry for something like this that made you want to start a software that would help artists and creators?
Yeah, I'm very lucky that I have a co-founder who is technical and product-minded. And so my co-founder, Matthias, was an instructor on Udemy, which is like an online course platform. And he was one of the bigger instructors. They had close to 50,000 students, but he really wasn't earning much money from that as well, because they take a big percentage and they do heavy discounts on everything. And so he decided he wanted to create his own platform. He tried out things like Kajabi and Thinkific and Teachable, and he found that none of them were they were all quite like static. They weren't as dynamic as he wanted. And then the other thing he noticed was he was using his phone for everything, but all these platforms were designed to be built and consumed on the web, on desktop devices. And so when he looked into what he could do in terms of building an app, he realized it's extremely expensive. It takes a long time. And usually even after all that, you're left with something that's not particularly beautiful, not particularly high converting, and decided that he would build his own. And that's basically where we met. So we had like the same vision for the change we wanted to see in the world, but I was very lucky that he had the product vision.
That's so cool. So who is like the ideal customer or user of this platform?
Coaches, creators, entrepreneurs, people who want to monetize content, so education, people who want to monetize coaching, helping people to get from where they are to where they want to be, and also people who want to monetize a community. So the two main features that we focused on building out and really making work to a high level is courses and content. So you can build things like a Netflix style library of content, like your own Netflix, if you like. You can build courses with gamification and progress tracking, things like that. And then the second one is the community. And with that, we focused on building something a bit like a Slack or a Discord, where you can create channels and you can create multiple communities. You can have one-on-one conversations. You can send images, videos, things like that. And really the idea is like, how can you as a creator, entrepreneur, coach, instead of charging, $10 a month for an app, which is what most people think about when they think about the price of an app, how can you create a product in an app that's worth $500, $1,000, $5,000? Because then you only need a handful of customers to make a really good living. And that's kind of like, that's the paradigm shift we're trying to help people realize, is like, you don't need thousands of customers to be successful. You just need a high value product and then a handful of customers.
It's interesting because it's a lot like what we do here at ClickFunnels with our web-based platform. So I see the value in like membership sites and courses and all that. So what do you think is the biggest value add for people to do this mobily?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's the device we spend the majority of our time on. If you look at social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of them have been mobile first for a long time. If you look at gaming, it's very much mobile first. If you think about where do you order food, you're going to do that mobile first as well. And the education system hasn't really moved mobile first because it's actually quite hard. Like, what we're doing is quite a technical challenge. So there's a reason why Kajabi and Thinkific and Teachable and others have focused on the web, which is like, it's much easier to create something that's highly functional. So it's the device we're all using. And of course, if you want, as an entrepreneur, if you want to impact people, if you want to make money from your skills, if you want people to actually use your product and stick with it, then being on the device that they use the most, that you're one tap away, is always going to drive a lot more engagement and enable you to grow a more sustainable business. I have to say, we're massive ClickFunnels fans, by the way. We use ClickFunnels. We're really proud. We just hit the 2 Comma Club C, the 25 million and beyond award. And what the symbiotic relationship I see there is like, you really want to do your sales funnel on the web, especially for high ticket products, because you don't want to be paying like Apple and Google 30% commission for like the revenue share that they take. So it's great to use things like ClickFunnels for the actual funnel to get your customers in. But then once you have your customer, you can convert them into, you give them access to your app. A little bit like when you joined Netflix. You signed up on netflix.com, you paid, and then you log in on the app to actually consume the content. So yeah, like ClickFunnels on the front end, Passion on the back end is a really good, is what a lot of our customers actually do.
Yeah, it's such a fascinating dynamic. So with us serving very similar customers who are creators and entrepreneurs and coaches who want a way to get their voice out and create and find customers, how does ClickFunnels actually help you, being another SaaS company, build your business and help it grow?
Well, the first thing ClickFunnels did, which I have to share this, is that really ClickFunnels, a ClickFunnels event, Funnel Hacking Live, gave us the confidence to launch our business. We started as an agency in the very beginning, like where we were kind of doing it was a done for you thing, and we did everything: marketing, operations, customer support. And then we always wanted to launch this software, but we never had the confidence to do it. And we always thought it wasn't ready yet. And we always thought that like it won't be successful. And then we went to Funnel Hacking Live in 2018, and we saw the people speaking on stage who were amazing, inspiring people. And we realized that that actually, although they were amazing and they'd achieved amazing results, they were also just like people like we were. And I think that seeing what people had achieved on the platform and being in the room with them made us realize, okay, like we can do this. And we launched the software like 2 months later. So the first thing that ClickFunnels did was the inspiration and the confidence to get started. And then I had myself and the whole team read Expert Secrets about 4 times because the book is incredible. And we knew that a core pillar for ourselves, but also our customers on how to be successful is not just the tools, it's also the education. People need to know how to be successful with it. And so the second piece ClickFunnels gave us was the education with Expert Secrets, and then a bunch of other courses that we've done. And then the third piece, which is funny because the other 2 came first, but the third piece that really then enabled us to scale was, of course, the software. And some of the key features that we find great as a software company is like, I think you call them OTOs, or like add-ons, like one-time upsells. Like I've heard Russell Brunson say that the company who can pay the most to acquire a customer wins. And so we have our software product, and in order to acquire a lot of customers for that, we want to make as much revenue upfront as possible so that we can afford to spend money on marketing and bring people in. And so it's been really effective for us using one-time add-ons to increase the amount of money we make per customer upfront on average. We also launched a webinar funnel, which has been extremely successful for us. We got our very first customer through a webinar, and we're now on to our 73rd iteration of our perfect webinar. And it's generated, millions and millions of dollars for us in revenue, completely automated. And so running a webinar funnel on the platform has been extremely valuable for us, not only to acquire customers, but also to educate them on how to be successful.
Yeah. So did that start out as a live webinar where you put a presentation together and then you eventually evergreened it?
Yeah, I learned again from Russell. He said, most people make the mistake of trying to evergreen immediately. You need to do it live. And so I listened. I started doing a webinar every week. And what we found was I live in Europe. Most of our customers are in the States. What we found was the best time to do a webinar was 1 a.m. till 3 a.m. European time, right? So I would stay up till 3 a.m. a couple of times a week for about 3 months. And I would do this really energetic, high energy webinar, and then have this adrenaline rush and eventually crash. But I did that for months on end, constantly evolving and iterating the presentation until the point where it was converting. We got it to about 15% conversion rate from attendee to purchase on a $1,000 product. So every attendee was generating $150 on average. And we thought, okay, that's good enough to automate now. And then I got some sleep after that, which was nice.
It's a pretty incredible conversion rate. Do you feel like doing that consistently helped your performance skills, helped you share your knowledge? Would you recommend doing that as consistently as you did before turning it evergreen?
When someone is world-class at something, they make it look easy, right? The issue with that is we mistakenly think it is easy, and then we go out and we just try and replicate it. And so for people who are watching Russell Brunson do the perfect webinar, he makes it look easy, but the issue is it's not, and it takes a long time. And people definitely make that mistake. A webinar is an insanely powerful thing if it converts, and it can also be a huge time sink because it's not easy. You're creating a 1 or 2 hour presentation that takes some time, and especially if you want to get it right. So it's a little bit like writing a book. I've not earned my book yet. I haven't written a book because I think I haven't yet earned it. But if you listen to the people who've written the best-selling business books, like Russell Brunson, like Alex Hormozy, they crafted it for years and did 17, 18 drafts and boiled it down and re-edited it. And then it creates an amazing, simple book. Then there are a lot of other folks who use AI and don't even read their own book, let alone write it. And nothing wrong with AI in a way to create ideas and things, but of course, people who do that are not going to create a successful book. So it's the same with a webinar. You have to put in the work, you have to iterate, you have to listen to why people bought, you have to listen to why people didn't buy. You evolve your presentation, you change your wording, you change the way you talk, you change your energy, you try things until it works. And of course, you start with a foundation of learning from someone who's done it. Don't start from figuring it out from zero.
Yeah. So there's definitely failures that have to happen in the process for you to improve and get better at what you're doing. Can you speak to that at all in where you've been versus where you are now? How failures have maybe helped you get to where you are?
Yeah, we've had multiple situations in the company where we've been close to running out of money. We've had multiple funnels and things that we've launched that have failed. one that springs to mind is when we started the company, we were an agency and we had a revenue share model. And so we had a few customers that made the majority of our money. And at this point, we already had a team of like 10 people. So you have like commitments, you have to pay salaries, and you have to make money every month. Our biggest customer just like overnight decided that she didn't want to do content anymore and just stopped. And so like most of our revenue dried up overnight, and we were losing money, and we had basically 30 days money in the bank account. And so we had to figure out like how to make that work. We found a personal trainer who, you know, his name's Al Cavadlo. He like saved our business. We found him and said, hey, we want to launch something with you. We'll do everything for you, but we need to do it like today. And we flew out to New York. We filmed in a gym some content. We were like editing it on the flight on the way home. We launched it on ClickFunnels the day we got back. And I think that launch generated like, I don't know what it was back then, 30K or 40K or something. And it saved the business. It meant that we could pay our employees and we didn't go bankrupt.
Wow. Yeah. So pivoting after feeling like you were about to run out of money and collaborating with your team and coming up with a way to save the company and doing something that was probably completely different for you guys is what brought you here today.
Yeah, that's definitely one. I can also tell you my first webinar, I was stood in like this kind of like echoey white room with no furniture in it that was like our old office that we basically borrowed from a friend. I had a cheap desk with like 5 cardboard boxes on top with my laptop on it, and then I was like stood up, I was doing my presentation. I think something like 12 people came to the webinar, and they had all left by like 20 minutes in, which I had not realized. And so for the next 2 hours, I was doing this like webinar presentation, like performing, trying to do my best. And I genuinely thought that I'd be the one, even though Russell Brunson says everyone needs to do it 50 times first, I'd be the one that like is an instant success. They'd all left. And like, I after I hit end, I like was completely exhausted. I'd put months of work into this presentation. I checked my phone to see like how much money had we made, and of course 0, because we had 0 people on the call by the end. So I was pretty much ready to give up at that point as well.
Yeah. I think one of the most interesting things that I've learned with having these interviews with users is everyone has shown the vulnerability of overcoming adversity of some kind. And I think that there's a lot of that in your story too, with being a musician who was passionate about what you were doing. But there's financial struggles, and everybody has been through those financial struggles in order to get their 2 Comma Club award, to grow their business, to get new clients. So tell me a little bit about your journey of like being an artist and how that drove you to be successful.
Yeah, when I was in the band, we were able to earn about £600 a month each, which was like, I don't know what that is, like $800 or something, which is not a lot to live on. And that was for everything, right? And you know, like we had to find a way to make it work, so we did. I think like the thing that like we felt we were very lucky to earn any money doing what we love, and we had people getting tattoos of our lyrics on their bodies. We had people flying from the other side of the world to come to one of our gigs. We launched an album and people bought it and it went into the charts. Like we felt very lucky for all of that stuff. But it was, at some point it was 600 a month, then it was 500, 400, and then it was 0. And it's like, you can't live on £0. And what's funny is I didn't know then what I know now, but actually we had an incredible foundation to generate revenue because we had people who were really invested in what we were doing. If we would have had a good offer, if we would have had a good product, if we would have had a vibrant community, we would have been able to earn really good money. But I didn't have the tools and the information back then. And then I was able to learn it from people like Russell Brunson and others. I was able to implement it and see some success for ourselves. And also the most rewarding thing is I've been able to pay that forward and see thousands of people from every niche you can imagine, be successful, and thrive from doing what they love. And it really comes down to, we're on this planet once, is at least what I believe, and we spend a great deal of our time working, right? If we're working on something that we don't love, you're spending the majority of your time doing something you don't enjoy, and it doesn't make any sense. And doing what you love is not to earn money, is also not selfish, because when you do what you love, you do brilliant things. You create stuff from the heart that people enjoy. We had fans of our band. People liked our music. People got tattoos. And when we couldn't earn money doing that and we stopped doing that, that means we stopped putting that value into the world. So my worldview is, if we're all able to do what we love, the world will be a better place because we're putting love into what we do. And so we want to help more people do that.
No, it's really powerful. Are you still pursuing music in any way?
For fun.
Yeah.
You know, what's funny is, like, when people ask me that, I have to share that, like, what I do now actually suits me much better. I've learned that I actually love this even more than what I was doing, because as a musician, it's very creative, but it's not like, I need a lot of mental stimulation, and so I need a lot of like hard work in the mind, and I wasn't getting that from music in the way I do from business. So I actually like really love what I'm doing here. But I have a drum kit I play just for fun and to let out some steam.
Yeah. And now you can enjoy it without having to worry about it, sustaining you financially, right? That's so cool. So what would be your one piece of advice for somebody who maybe they are an artist or a creator, and they do have a passion, but they're trying to figure out how to turn that into their living? What would be your piece of advice for them?
Figure out how to create a profitable business model. Figure out how to sell something that people want to buy. And it might sound like the most obvious thing in the world, but what I find from creators and entrepreneurs and coaches is, like, we're all designed this way because we want to solve a problem and we want to create something, build something, do something creative. And actually figuring out how to make money from that is kind of like a secondary thought. But the issue is, money is oxygen for your business and for your life. And if you don't figure out how to make money from something, you also won't be able to do that thing that you want to do over here, that helping people or building something, creating something. And so, rather, like, most people think, like, what can I create? Who can I help? Like, they're thinking about the product. I suggest my number one advice is figure out how to make money from it first, because once you have money and a way of consistently generating money, you can create the most incredible thing. I'm so proud of what we've built, but it costs $500,000 a month to continue building it. Where would I have got $500,000 a month from as a musician earning $600 a month? So I had to figure out how to make money in order to actually create the thing that I wanted, the change I want to see in the world. And most people get it backwards.
I think that's really great advice, because I think so many people do, especially in the creative industry, kind of put the cart before the horse. And it is essentially about pursuing what you love and how to serve others. But in order to do that, you need the financial means in order to keep it sustainable. And you're only able to serve if you can maintain a business. And I think that it's really important to actually talk about the financial stability in that. And it's not selfish. It's the best way for you to continue to serve in the long term. And that makes so much sense with what you're doing. And especially the name of your business being Passion.io is, you can only serve your customers who are passionate about things, or what you're passionate about yourself, if you really do care about your business model and making money from it. Yeah, that's powerful. I love that. So tell us where we can learn more about you and your business.
Yeah, you can go to our website, passion.io. You can follow me on social media. They call me Passion Dan. And across everything, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, whatever you want.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Dan. And will we see you at Funnel Hacking Live this year?
I need to check. I actually haven't like booked tickets, but when is it again?
It'll be end of September.
End of September. It would be cool because then we can collect our 2 Comma Club C. It was just arrived, by the way. It's amazing. You can plug it in and it like lights up and stuff. I haven't got it in here yet, but I'm, honestly, for everyone, like work just for that award. Like it's so cool. So
Well,
yes,
now we have to see you walk across the stage.
hopefully so. Yeah.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Dan. It was great to get to know you today.
Thank you. You too.
Have a good one.